Well, now comes the aftermath of Friday Night Tights and Nerdrotic having on Alex Jones and this very controversial FNT. So, what happened and what did not happen? Well, for the most part, it was nothing really big or revealing, although I do think there was a very funny way that Matt Charbo sort of looked at the controversy, and we'll get into that. Long story short, what happened is Alex did appear. It took him a while. It was sort of like 45, 50 minutes into the actual FNT. Then he appeared. He's there for about an hour. He does his thing. Of course, he gets into various conspiracies about the flu, Obama and Biden and globalist elites and that kind of thing. And interestingly enough, they were mostly bored. They said they were going to be very excited, but really, when he went into the CIA killing people or destroying democracies, they just tuned out completely. They didn't like it when he went, quote, on the left. When he went on the right, they were a little bit more excited, but they only had a few things to say. It was really only when he said, I don't like the mainstream media, I think we're being censored, then they got really hopped up and excited. So most of it just they said they were going to be very excited and very engaged, but if you actually look, they were really bored. They just didn't really care. I guess they just wanted the name celebrity to appear for their name to get traction. TheQuartering I found the most funny at all. He just was totally tuned out, and Jeremy was looking at his phone a lot. You just look at the close-ups. He isn't even looking at the screen. So I'm just going to give a very small sample of what Alex did and their reaction, and hopefully that's a representative sample of how things went.
Discussions about it. I said, Dad, it's foregone. They're going to take over. It's in their white papers. The Wall Street Journal written a 30-page article, forget the name of it, but it was linked in an article called Hold On to Your Tinfoil Hat, Alex Jones. Google's about to ban you. And there's a 30-page article behind the paywall because the corporate business pages put out real stuff. It said, don't worry, the internet will not be around like it was. It'll be like Netflix. Within 3 years, we're going to censor everybody. And here's such and such, this neocon at the German intelligence group with the CIA who developed the plan with AI to censor. It's like a 30-page article. I've read it on air, the whole thing before. And they said, we're going to start with Julian Assange. And when the left doesn't stand up for him being banned, then we're going to ban Alex Jones. And when the right doesn't stand up, Jack Sprat will eat no fat. His wife will eat no lean. In between, they lick the platter clean. And so they said we're going to do it. So I said, Dad, you see this? I've got to be as big as I can, tell the truth now, and hope people have a memory when they ban me to come to Infowars.com. So then I'm up there saying, they're going to ban me. You got to come here. You got to share it. And when you think it's just me, then they're going to come after you. And so, again, I'm not a plotting person. I just cover the truth. But on the big picture, I think 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100-year plans. I wanted to sabotage them no matter what happened by laying enough truth, like landmines of truth out there that wherever they step, they're going to blow their foots off. Footies off.
And you've also built now the capacity to be able to basically the old saying from Firefly Serenity, you can't stop the signal. And you've now been able to, with all of this, be able to build yourself up to that they can't shut you down. And it's awesome.
Exactly. And if they had Serenity over this group of globalists, he'd show the guy that the film clip of them killing everybody with the aerosolized Prozac. And the guy go, of course I know we're killing everyone. I like to kill people and rape their dead bodies. So the movie was accurate. He'd go, of course we killed everybody.
That's the only thing he had a conscience.
The globalists are like the Reavers. The globalists are who run. Imagine the Reavers run everything.
Well, so how do we go and stop the Great Reset? How do we stop this push for global authoritarianism? I mean, it's 2030 is not that far away, so we only have like 9 years to.
So yeah, that's the basic spiel. He came on for an hour. He went back and forth with him. Nerdrotic revealed he had been a very long time fan, and I will give him this: he's not pro-Bush, and neither is Jeremy. So they have a kind of weirdo patriotic conservatism where they're into the conspiracy stuff. They're patriotic. They're like, let's mourn the dead about 9/11, but they like Alex Jones, even though a lot of 9/11 people despise him and hate him because he keeps talking about how all of this is made up. A lot of those people who got killed did not get killed. So, and if you just Google the Sandy Hook controversy, a lot of those parents are outraged that he suggests that it was a false flag attack and things like that. So I don't know how they're squaring their alleged patriotism and we love America stuff with Alex, because he's very challenging of that sometimes. So I don't know. It seems like a logical contradiction, but there we go. And if people think I'm mislabeling Nerdrotic, no. I mean, for just this thing afterward, he put on weirdly this weird Captain America shirt. Okay, he's done that before, but put on a weird hat with the American flag, and I'm like, what is going on? So I guess he's rebranding himself or pivoting himself as, I guess, an independent, patriotic guy who's against the liberals and hates Bush and does not identify with the government, but he loves the people. I don't know. It just feels like this is a new grift. This is just their main channels are sometimes suffering. Not Gary. He does have 3 different channels, but he hasn't done outright political stuff. But definitely Jeremy and some of the others keep having these secondary channels where they do more political things. It's interesting. Their videos are almost getting comparable views. So is it greed? Is it ideology? I don't know, but I would suspect they're just trying to branch out. They're trying to create their own CNN and sort of have like a news division and make money from that as well. But they don't seem to really know that much about the news or know much about substantively global politics. It's very vague. Yeah, it's kind of like, at least I will give this. Ryan Kinno does kind of know the Star Wars canon. He's strong on that. But Heel versus Babyface knows a lot of DC Comics. But beyond their very specialized fields within pop culture, they don't really know that much about politics. They don't really know that much about history. So how is this news division or how this is going to, the new grift into the political world going to work out? I don't know. I mean, I myself on kind of on their side. I don't trust CNN very much. I don't trust Fox News very much. I think both of them are clearly lying to their respective audience. But just because a lot of the mainstream lies does not mean, quote, the independent media is much better. But I am on the left, and I do think Democracy Now!, even though it's very biased, does try to do very good reporting. So there is some independent media that is what it is. It actually is reporting the news. Again, slanted, but it's very strong. But a lot of this independent media is also not very trustworthy. So unfortunately, I think this is a much more negative development than anything else. That, yeah, alternative media is good, independent media is good, but it will also have a lot of the problems and biases that the mainstream has. And they're basically going corporate because Nerdrotic kept mentioning sponsors. So this is very much a corporate move for them to, I guess, get traction with their name and get their name out on the internets. But they didn't really go anywhere. They just kept going, clapping like seals when he said something they agreed with. But when he said something that they didn't like, they just tuned out. They looked into the camera. They were like zombies. They're like, oh, we don't want to talk about that. Yeah, please stop going. Let's go back to attacking Biden. That seems to be the only consensus. They hate Biden. They don't like critical race theory, stuff like that. But beyond that, there really wasn't much of an intersection between what Alex wanted to talk about and what they wanted to talk about. But I do still give it a thumbs up. I'm for free speech and less letting debate be a debate. I know people don't trust Alex either. They think he's a grifter and hustler. I think at the end of the day, he is a good man. He's trying to do the right thing. But yeah, you want to always double check Alex Jones. I'll just say that. Just keep double checking him and don't take everything he says at face value. And there we are with the FNT and the Alex Jones incident or coming together. Well, we'll see what develops. Thanks for listening.